Now, the prospect of the International Criminal Court issuing arrest warrants has come up before during the war in Gaza. On April the 30th, Israeli Prime Minister responded to the possibility of a warrant for his arrest, saying the move would be an outrage.
The International Criminal Court in The Hague is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against senior Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides. Yet now, the International Court is trying to put Israel in the dock. Israel is not even subject to the court's jurisdiction, and it has an independent legal system that rigorously investigates all violations of the law. Rather, this ICC attempt is an attempt to paralyze Israel's very ability to defend itself.
Well, Al Jazeera senior political analyst MARWAN BISHARA joins us from Paris now. And MARWAN, it's the first time the ICC has targeted a leader close to the United States. The US, of course, now under huge pressure to respond firmly and critically. How dangerous could that be for Washington to attack this court right now?
I think it would be quite reckless on the part of Washington, not only because that will undermine its standing or further undermine its standing in the world and compromise its position about human rights and international law, but it also will send the wrong message to the rest of the world that this is a world of might, not right, that international law does not count. And you know what that means. It means that people will start resorting to other asymmetrical, unconventional, unacceptable, illegal means. The only reason why a good number of people and causes around the world continue to struggle peacefully or within the law is because they believe there is such a thing as international law. Once this is compromised by the world superpower, you can kiss international law goodbye.
Marwan, there's no shortage, as we heard, of outrage coming from the Israeli leadership and also opposition leaders in Israel as well. Nevertheless, we've also heard from Itamar Ben-Gvir, the extreme right security minister in the country, telling Benjamin Netanyahu to, quote, ignore the anti-Semitic court. I wonder, though, given how far Benjamin Netanyahu has gone to express outrage, how much this actually genuinely hurts him.
I think it hurts him a lot. I would go further and say this is the beginning of the end of Netanyahu. Bearing in mind that a lot of us thought a lot of times that this was the end of Netanyahu, but he had like 7 lives, like an Israeli cat of sort. And he did survive, and he did show certain resilience and always somehow risen from various indictments, crimes, and failures, if you will. But this time, I think there are so many factors involved. 1, his responsibility for October 7. 2, his indictment on a number of corruption charges. 3, his utter failure in Gaza. Gaza is destroyed, but Hamas survives. 4th, his total disregard for international humanitarian law and the execution of war crimes. 5, he is indicted for plausible genocide at the International Court of Justice. 6, he's basically harmed Israel relations with most countries around the world. Israel's standing is probably lowest than it ever was over the past 30 years. Certainly, the economy might have just done a little better the past quarter, but it's not doing well in general. It's certainly being pounded from all sides. And I think it's divided in a big way, not just the families of captives, but a good number of people in the streets continue to protest against Netanyahu, whose popularity is no more than 15-16%. So really, all in all, once you combine all the causes together, how badly he's done over the past decade, how arrogant he's been, how dismissive he's been, even of his closest ally, Joe Biden, basically rejecting all his advice about indiscriminate bombing, about weaponizing of hunger, and so on and so forth. So really, all in all, this has been an utter failure. He's been an utter disgrace, confusing himself with all the Jewish people as if accusing him of something is accusing all the Jewish people of something. That's such a ridiculous, stupid, foolish, inexcusable declaration by an indicted political and war criminal like Netanyahu. So really, in the end of the day, I think the future doesn't look good for him, and I think most of it is of his own making.
Right, so it seems to cut deeper than he would like to admit. Marwan Bishara, Al Jazeera senior political analyst there. Thank you.